I have to tell you, I am working on so many different projects. Jason is here. He was with me this morning. We drove in together, and I shared with him a project he didn't know I was working on, something for history, and game changing. Do you think, Jason?
Oh, I was jamming out.
I mean, it's game changing. It's game changing. We're going to hit you in so many different ways. My goal is to hit all five senses, to be able to, whatever your learning skill is, we're going to hit you there. And it's not going to happen right away, but man, we're so excited for the launch of The Torch, which is happening on January 5th. You'll be able to go to glennbeck.com, get the app, and get all of the information soon. So stand by for that. Also, I'm planning a Christmas tour next year. And I'm in the midst of writing and putting that all together right now for next Christmas. And it's going to be great. Going to go out on tour a couple of times next year. For 2026, we're going to be doing a few things. One thing we're going to be doing, and I can't give you any of the details, but let me just tell you, an incredible event from Ellis Island. And that's just going to be loads of fun. So, in between all of that, I'm trying to stay abreast of all of the news and everything that's going on, and we're doing that. But I have to tell you, I mean, is it just me who is kind of like, okay, I want to coast into Christmas right now? I mean, not my job, but I mean, I just kind of, I like this time of year because it just gives you a chance to reconnect with everything that is important and family. And I'm trying to do presents that aren't real, present-y, not go out and spend a lot of money, but just do something that is meaningful for everybody I want to give a gift to, Yesterday, the day before, I was watching The Grinch Stole Christmas. And, it was never one of my favorites as a kid. I don't know why. And maybe it was because it didn't have, like Frosty the Snowman or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Those were my favorites growing up. But the Grinch, and, I think it was CBS that did the Grinch. They didn't think that it would actually be, a hit. In fact, they didn't want to put any money into it at all. It was Chuck Jones and Dr. Seuss. What is his name? What's his name? Theodore Geisel. Dr. Seuss. He had written The Grinch. Do you know why he wrote The Grinch? He woke up the day after Christmas in the 1960s, and he thought, what is wrong with me? And he was standing and he's shaving and he's looking in the mirror and he's like, I'm the Grinch. I've become the Grinch. And so he wrote the book as a cure because he was thinking it was all about packages and boxes and bags. He wrote the book, and, it sold and sold and sold, but nobody was trying to bring it on TV because all of the networks thought there's never, ever going to be, nobody's ever going to watch this. And then a guy who was a friend of his, a buddy of Dr. Seuss in the military during the war, named Chuck Jones, called him up and said, dude, I think we've got a smash hit on our hands. Now, if you don't know who Chuck Jones is, he did Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Wile E. Coyote. He understood mischief just a little bit. He understood timing. And he understood that The Grinch was not just a Christmas story. It was a warning. And so Jones calls him up and says, let me make this for television. I think I can sell it. Well, the network, they almost threw him out. And he said, I'll do it, we'll do it really cheaply. And they were like, how cheap can you do it? And so cheap. And he started it because they were like, there's no Santa, there's no jolliness. The villain hates the holiday. But he said, I can do it really, really cheap. And the network gave them almost no money to do it, but he kept planning and he kept animating. Cuts here, cuts there. They were cutting this, cutting that. how do we make this without any more money? And the network kept saying no to him on money because they were like, we're not even sure this is ever going to be seen. Then the first miracle of the Grinch happened. Boris Karloff heard about it. Now, if you don't know who Boris Karloff was, he was the king of horror. He was Frankenstein. He was the Mummy. He's just great. And he said, "Are you really making this? I'd like to narrate it." And so he volunteered to narrate it. Now you have Boris Karloff. Now the network is like, okay, maybe we have something. Okay. But then they had to do music. And as they get into the music, they needed somebody that could bring the Grinch, somebody who had a scowl that could match the Grinch. And that's when the guy who was never named comes into the picture and walks into the studio. And somewhere in a Los Angeles recording booth, late at night, I think 1966, he steps up into a booth, up to a microphone, and his voice is so deep, it's almost as if it rolled out of the earth itself, And he steps up to the microphone and he records the now really super famous anthem in The Grinch, this.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as
So it's only 6 verses. Razor sharp. It's dark. It's perfectly wicked. And the crew in the room, while they were listening to him do it, they're like, this is amazing. And the people that worked on it said they knew that performance would outlive all of them. They put it in the show. The show airs. Credits roll. His name's not on it. Not a mention, not a whisper. No one, everybody thought it was Boris Karloff that did it, but that wasn't Boris Karloff. Dr. Seuss was really upset about it. So he started a campaign. He wrote to the newspapers, begging them to correct the mistake, blah, blah, blah. And yet, for years and years and years, most people watch it year after year, and they have no idea who this guy is. Do you know who he is? The man who actually delivered one of the most unforgettable performances in Christmas history. Vanished behind the curtain. Any idea who it is? I'm not going to help you. I'll give you the name, but it won't help you. Thurl Ravenscroft. You know who he is. Thurl Ravenscroft. Ever heard of him? No. Because his name's never attached to anything. I mean, Thurl Ravenscroft, if that's not written by Dickens, I mean, it certainly should be. Here's who he is. He was known for his work in music and animation. And you can hear him today. He was one of Disney's most reliable deep voices. If you go to a Disney park, you can still hear him. He's in the Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean. He was in the Country Bear Jamboree, the Mark Twain Riverboat narrator. And he is recognizable when you hear him, but you don't know who he is. But he also did a whole bunch of other stuff that most people don't know. He was a singer that backed a lot of people. Elvis, Bing Crosby, Rosemary Clooney, Tennessee Ernie Ford, Peggy Lee. He's a backup singer for all of those guys. He's also done Horton Hears a Who. He was the voice in 1997 of the Rankin and Bass Hobbit. He was in The Brave Little Toaster. Okay. He was in Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Lady and the Tramp, The Aristocats, The Jungle Book. You'll hear him everywhere. But that's not how you really know him. You know how you really know him? Because he already had a full-time job. And that full-time job was really just to say one line. And everyone knew that one line. Here's that one line.
They're great.
Tony the Tiger. Tony, the cartoon titan of morning cereal, is the secret voice that gave America the Grinch. The greatest uncredited performance in all of television, just certainly, holiday television, delivered by the same guy who convinced generations of children that Frosted Flakes were a part of a balanced breakfast. Thurl Ravenscroft. His name is nowhere to be found, but it should be, and it should be remembered because he's great.